Hi crafty friends, Melissa Minor here. Thanks so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating a layout using the September 2025 main kit from My Creative Scrapbook. Now this kit is filled with the Simple Stories Book Fair collection, which I absolutely love. So let's go ahead and get started and jump into the layout. So on my desk in front of me, I've already pulled out a few things that I think I want to use. I have this photo of my daughter Tatum doing some homework. This is a recent photo, so her sophomore year doing homework up at the counter in our new house. I've pulled out this paper, which I love the little pencils on it. It's got the teal and the pinks. So I went ahead and pulled some cardstock from my stash. I've got a pink piece and a teal piece that coordinate very nicely. I believe one's a close to my heart and one's maybe a Stampin' Up. I've also got this stencil. This is an Echo Park stencil called Classic Cheetah and the Distress Oxide ink in Worn Lipstick. And I think I want to do some distressing on the pink paper with the stencil and then maybe use this embossing folder here on the teal piece of paper. So that's my initial thought of what I want to do. I also might pull in a tag. And I like this one. This is the teal. I'm not sure it's going to work, but I think it's close enough in color that I can make that work. So maybe this one here with the stripes, I like that one too, but we'll just have to see how the layout progresses. So I went ahead and cut the tag, and off camera I did the stenciling. I used that Worn Lipstick and that cheetah stencil, and I cut these strips into 1.5 by 5 inch strips. You can see here I used my embossing folder on these strips, and then of course I used the pencil pattern paper and cut those. I did distress all the edges, so I have these all ready to go. I have a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock here, and I want to start arranging my pieces of paper that I cut, and I just want to make these go across the page, not even, just kind of wonky across here. So I'm just going to lay them out in a pattern just to see if the idea that I had is going to work. So I'll continue repeating that pattern. I think I want to end on the teal, and I'll place my photo right here in the center. I do think my photo needs a mat. I'm not sure if I want to use the pink cardstock or the teal. Let me try one of each and just see what I think. I like them both, but I think I want to go with the pink because there's not as much pink. So I went ahead and cut a photo mat, again, distress the edges. And I'm just going to place my photo something like this. I'm not going to glue anything down yet. I just want to get a general idea of how I want this to look. Now here's that tag, and I do like that. I think I can make that work. I think the color coordinates just enough to make that work on the layout. I am going to have to take some time to get these strips arranged, but I do like the general idea of this going across the page. Now I want to add some mixed media to my layout, and to do that, I think the easiest way is to take a piece of white cardstock here, and I cut this a little shorter. I think I cut it at 10.5 inches. It might be 11. And what I want to do is I want to use this as a guide to glue all those pattern paper strips down to. And that way, once I glue all the pattern strips down, they're just adhered to this white cardstock, this piece, that I can lift up easily. So I can see just where I want to place that mixed media while lifting this piece up. So you see how that's movable? So I'm going to continue gluing these strips down just as I had them before. They might not be exact. I'm just taking the time to, if I go one direction, one's up higher, one's down lower, just so they're not all even and symmetrical. I want them to be a little bit off balance. I will place this pink one down just a little bit lower in the center because I believe that's where my photo is going to hit. And I want some pattern paper to stick out at the bottom, especially since I'm going to be placing a tag at the top. So you won't be able to see that pattern paper at the top, only at the bottom. So I think I have this kind of the way I want it, and I can move this piece around. I want to go ahead and adhere my photo to the photo mat. And then I want to go ahead and place my photo onto this strip, again, so that I can move this all around to adhere my mixed media. So let me get this glued down. Now I do print all my photos at home. I have the Epson PictureMate 400, which I absolutely love, and it allows me to make just the right sizes of photos that I need. It's so easy to use, and I've had it for quite a while, and it's working great. Now, the only thing I have to do is replace the ink every now and then, but for the most part, the ink seems to last quite a while. I'm sure it would be cheaper to print the photos somewhere else rather than at home, but I just like having the flexibility of printing the photo right as I want to scrapbook it and printing the size that I want. I used to be limited only to 4x6 photos, so I think that's the main thing that's evolved in my scrapbook style, is using different sizes of photos, which I really like that to give it a more artistic appeal. All right, so I want to place some mixed media up here in the upper left of this little piece in the center and the bottom right. I've went ahead and pulled some of the ephemera from the collection that came in the kit, and I just pulled the pieces that had the pink and the teal in them. I like the idea of this little cup with the pencil and things in it. I'm not sure what I want to do at the top yet. I like the paper clip. I do love the pencil at the bottom. I'm not crazy about the paper clip. I don't know yet. I like the owl. I think I want to add the owl somewhere on here. I think that's cute. Now, while I'm deciding on that, I went ahead and did some things off camera. I used some dies from my stash. I've got the Sunny Lane Florals from scrapbook.com and also the Market Bloom Florals. These are must-have dies. I use them all the time for florals and for leaves. I've pulled some Shimmers paints that coordinate, and this is actually the reverse side of that pattern paper that had these pencils on it. It's like a little polka dot. So I went ahead and used a little bit of Distress Oxide, just what was left on my brush, and went around the edges. And what I'm thinking now is I want to paint the centers of these flowers. Now, the three colors I've pulled from Shimmers paints, I've got on the teal, the one on the left is teal. It's a Vibes. It's Jenny B Blue. This one here that I'm adding water to, this is a Creamies, and it's called Pink Champagne. And then the one on the right, that is a Spritz, and it's called Caribbean Sunset. So to paint these, I'm going to go ahead and just spritz a little bit onto my glass mat, use a paintbrush here, and I'm just going to apply some color. So this is going to be the center of the flowers. And for these, I just cut these out of white cardstock from my stash. The leaves were also out of white cardstock, but the actual flowers themselves are out of the pattern paper that was included in the kit. All right, so I pretty much have these centers complete. So now I want to move on to the leaves. And for the leaves, I'm going to repeat the same technique. I'm going to use this Vibes, this Jenny B Blue color. I absolutely love it. And I'm just going to put some color on the leaves to use. So I'll get these leaves colored up. And then I'll set this aside to dry, and I will start assembling my flowers. So I went ahead and added a foam dot in the center to place that middle piece down. And one thing I did off camera as well is I brought in some sheer shimmer spray and added to the center of the flowers just to give them a little bit more sparkle. Now I want to start the mixed media on the background of my layout. So I'm adhering the Creamies Pink Champagne to my glass mat. And then I'm using a sponge dauber to pick up the paint and then rub it around on my layout in this upper left and then this bottom right. Now you'll notice the color is quite a bit darker than the paint, and that is because I had some ink left on my sponge dauber here, but it was the same color. It's that Distress Oxide and Warm Lipstick, and so I think it all coordinates well. It's probably best to get a sponge dauber that doesn't have any ink on it, but I do like the way this came out. But now the ink is starting to really come off of the ink dauber and there's not much left. So to fix that, I want to bring in some of that color from the Distress Oxide ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of the Distress Oxide ink, just the ink from this ink pad, turn it upside down on my glass mat, and just mix that with the pink champagne creamies. I'm going to do some splatters, and then I'll touch up any spaces that need it and go back over with my ink dauber there and apply some more color. So I like the way this is looking. I can easily bring in my pattern paper strips just to see if I have enough color where I want it. And I didn't actually, so I believe I do this off camera. I added a little bit more paint to that upper left section. Now, the whole reason that I got this idea for these colors, this color scheme, is because I wanted to use this sticker that said homework, and it's in that teal color that matches the little pencil paper so perfectly, and the strips that I cut out from cardstock that I did that embossing on. Now what I like to do is take a powder tool and remove the stick from the stickers, and this will allow me to move the stickers around on my layout somewhat like a die cut without committing. So in case I change my mind, I wasn't sure where I wanted to place the sticker, but I do like it in the bottom right of the photo, and I think that's going to be perfect. I toyed around with maybe using it down in the mixed media area or right on the photo, and since the photo only has like her homework papers, it's not covering up her, I'm going to go ahead and put it right to the bottom of my photo. Now comes the fun part. I want to start trying to lay out the embellishments, kind of do a dry fit here of what I think might work before I commit to anything. I also cut, you can see here, these white long leafy bits and from the dies that I showed you. So I kind of think I want something like this, maybe not exactly, but I think this is going to work. I really like how I was able to create some additional ephemera to go along with the kit. I think this just stretches your kit a little bit further. There weren't any florals included, and you know, girls, you gotta have florals, and the more florals the better. So I will glue this down off camera, but first I do see that I need some more mixed media in that upper left, because once I place my embellishments there, you can't see it. So there's where I went in off camera and did some more inking. I do want to mention that I'm on the Shimmers Paints design team, so if you ever place an order on the Shimmers Paints website, you can add my name, Melissa Minor, to the notes section, and Shimmers will send you a free paint. And you can do that to every order you place, and each time you'll get another free paint. You can see here I went ahead and added some wet glue to that white cardstock strip just to start gluing everything down. And I'm also adding some wet glue to my homework title since I removed the stick off the backing. Now, My Creative Scrapbook has several different kits. This is the main kit. They also have a limited edition kit, an album kit, and a creative kit available on their website. It is a monthly subscription, and they always have the latest papers and kits collections that come out. So it is such a fun group to belong to. It is the best subscription kit. In fact, I like it so much that I have a subscription also to the limited edition kit, which I'm sure you will enjoy as well. You can always go to the My Creative Scrapbook website, and there is a place for ideas, and the whole design team shows artwork of all the layouts that they've created. So you'll have plenty of ideas to make layouts with your kit contents. I will leave a link listed down below in the description box to My Creative Scrapbook website and also the Facebook community, where it's fun to share your work that you make with your pages. If you do share any work that you've made, feel free to tag me. I would love to see what you've created. All right, so I am just gluing some of these florals down, and I'm not adding any foam to the back because I did add a piece of foam to the middle, to the centers of these flowers. And I love the soft look that these flowers bring with that little subtle polka dot. It's hardly noticeable, but that is the reverse side of the pattern paper. I've got the whites mixed in here along with the pink and the teal, and I just love the look of this. So I'm going to continue placing my ephemera down just as I had kind of dry fit with it. I did add a little bit of foam to the back of the little pencil can, and I think that looks cute. And so now I've kind of finished the bottom for now, and I want to start working on the top portion. I added some foam to the back of those pencils and to this little owl holding the book. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing in my flowers so I can get those on here. And I've got 3 flowers for the bottom. I only cut 5, so 2 flowers for the top. Of course, each set of flowers has a set of leaves that go with it. And then I've got these long leaves, the kind of filler things to fill in the space here. So that's looking pretty good, but I do feel like there's an opportunity to add some more things. I feel like there's just like a little blank spot between the pencils and the florals, and at the bottom, I think it needs something else on top of the florals. While I'm thinking about that, I do love these star puffy stickers. So I'm going to add 3 to my upper cluster and 3 to my bottom cluster. So I love those. And again, it's just white with a little bit of black, so I have a hint of black. Off camera, I found this little typewriter and I placed it right on top of my florals. Now, I did adhere it down flat, but later I do go back and add some foam that I don't mention on camera. I added that little puffy clip to the top, and so I like the way that looks. And I'm looking for something to add up here to this top cluster. I do think it's missing something. I found a sticker on the sticker sheet. I added some foam, and yes, I like the way that looks on there. Oh, I found a little notebook ephemera piece, and this says Keep Dreaming, and it's the colors that coordinate with everything. I am going to have to move this flower over to fit it, but I think that that looks good and just helps fill up this cluster down here. I do need a place for this white leaf, so let me put a little bit more glue on it and see if I can place it up here, kind of down more with the flowers. There we go. Let me just tuck it in, and I like the way that looks. Perfect. Off camera, I did go in and add some thread to my tags, and then I just added a little bit of glue to hold those strings down. So that's going to wrap up my layout. Oh, I did add another pencil up there to the top. So if you've enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. And if you don't already follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, I would love for you to follow me on those platforms as well. I'll have all the links listed down below in the description box. I did add some journaling around the edge with a journaling pen just to bring in some more black. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!